My goal is no longer to get more done, but rather to have less to do. Hey everybody, and welcome back to I Got This podcast with Lex and MGP. My name is Lex. I've been a personal trainer for 7 years now. Martha is my client, and she has been with me for 4 years. Over our time together, she's lost over 60 pounds, and we have learned so much together. We've learned what works, what doesn't work, and more importantly, we've had so much fun doing it. So join us each and every week as we talk about whatever the hell we want. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to I Got This podcast with Lex and MGP. We're back again with you guys. Super excited to talk about the Einstein principle. The basic premise of this principle is accomplish more by doing less. All right, Martha, I'm going to have you, my mathematician, explain exactly what this means and how it came about.
Okay, so Einstein is giving credit for this. Between early 1900s, I think it was like around 1910, 1915, he was pretty focused on working on the theory of relativity and the quantization of light, among other things, but mostly his theory of relativity. And he was working on it, trying all these different things. It wasn't really working that well. And then he went to Switzerland and met a mathematician named Marcel Grossmann, and became convinced if he used some non-Euclidean math studied by Grossmann to added that to his own work, that they could figure out the theory of relativity. And so he had to generalize his theory because of gravity. That was the big issue. Long story short there on that. And of course, this became one of the most famous, theories or advancements in physics in a very long time. And he became so obsessed in his push to formalize that relativity theory that he stopped working on other things. It's been known, like, his marriage became strained, his hair became crazy and white during that time. I mean, he threw, personal hygiene, his relationship, all those things were tossed aside because he became focused on his full theory. And it is considered to this day one of the greatest scientific accomplishments, if not the greatest, of the 20th century, right? But his thing was that he could be most productive if he only focused on a very small number of details in his life at one time. So that's why he was able to do it. So now now he's credited with that whole Einstein principle of accomplish more by doing less. Unfortunately, like for his wife and maybe his hairdo, those were some of the things that he didn't focus on, but that's where it comes from.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? It's so true. Even with entrepreneurs today, the ones who accomplish the most when they are solely focused on their work. And yes, their family life suffers and their balance in life suffers, and sometimes their health suffers, but they truly accomplish great things.
Right. And we've talked about this even a little bit. It makes me think of the book Relentless with Tim Grover, right? And what some of his
our podcast is named after.
Right. His top level athletes, the Kobe Bryants of the world, the Michael Jordans, how other things around their life maybe we're not focused on, because they were so driven and focused on that championship ring or that becoming the best NBA player or whatever it is.
Yeah. And it's almost shocking. But we could apply it to every part of life, right? We could apply it to truly anything. And the reason why I brought it up was I kind of applied it to lifting, which we can go back to. When I think of this, it always is shocking to me, because I feel like I'm growing right now the most because I'm not keeping myself in a box of just training. Like podcasting has helped, being active in my own life has helped. And I think I've grown more by being a little bit well-versed in all these different things. I guess if you were to truly, you could look at the statistics of my growth. I've grown tremendously over the last year and a half, honestly, since we started this podcast, which is super cool. I wonder if it all is drawn back to, well, it's all themed around fitness, or it's all themed around focusing on your craft, or it's all themed around one thing. So I am curious, because when I think, well, I'm doing a little bit of this, I'm doing a little bit of that, I'm being creative here, I'm trying this, and my growth is tremendous. Whereas he really did focus on one thing.
Well, he did. But when you look at what they credit now with this Einstein principle, you can think of kind of your life, and I'm looking at a summary of it. Are you trying, let's say one of your focuses were to meet a lot of new people.
Right.
Well, are you joining 500 clubs or going online incessantly, or are you focused on one club that you're going to put your time and effort into?
Right.
But it doesn't mean that's the only thing in your life you're focused on.
Right.
So they're talking about here as applying the principle in kind of in search of your own theory of relativity.
Yeah.
You have your work life, maybe your extracurriculars,
Mm-hmm.
and then family life. And then you, within each of those areas, you pick one thing to really focus on.
Oh, I like that.
So maybe for you, your work life is your training your clients, but then podcasting could be your, extension or whatever it is.
Right.
So instead of like focusing just on that one thing, which was the relative, theory of relativity for Einstein, obviously we're not quite trying to become Nobel Prize winners in physics. When your schedule feels like it's too full or it's overwhelming, they're suggesting that you maybe think of your life as professional, extracurricular, and personal. And then within each of those, you focus on that one big thing. Maybe under your professional list, for me as a teacher, I can't be designing new curriculum for 6 different classes, plus scheduling, plus, I've got to pick one thing that I really want to focus on for the next school year.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the thing I knock out of the park. Maybe the extracurricular is, growing the podcast. I can't be growing the podcast and becoming, doing these other 12 things.
Yeah. Isn't it so funny? Because when you hone in on one thing, your stress levels diminish tremendously. Not in a way, I mean, maybe Einstein's didn't, but
just look at his hair.
Just his hair, seriously. But I think it's so funny when I start to focus solely on getting my clients results, and I get stressed about that, making sure I'm accomplishing that goal. But when I do, I feel less stressed because I'm more connected to my purpose.
Right.
So I feel like when you have that focus and you understand your theory of relativity, your focus is tremendous and you become more aligned with a purpose and a goal. And even in let's say relationships, my focus is more spending more time with my family, right? And when I focus on that and I'm not stressed about, okay, well, I need 6 different friend groups and I have to be good at socializing and networking, but in my social settings, I just want to focus on my family. Like the stress truly does melt away. It's really kind of interesting how that works. And then you go to fitness and exercise. Well, I want to build muscle, but I also want to lose weight, but I also want to be, really fit. And I want to be able to run 3 miles and I want to be able to do this and this and this. If you focus on one thing,
right,
your stress levels diminish.
Right. Oh, 100%. It's overwhelming otherwise.
It is.
And I think that's kind of what I'm getting out of reading up on this.
It's super cool. Isn't it so funny? So we kind of talked about Newton's. We did 80-20 rule. That was Newton, right? And now we're on to Einstein. It's so cool how everything is connected to everything. And these principles are they can be applied so minusculely and so large scale and so like philosophy, like on every single level. And I think that's something that we cannot forget, that everything does connect everything. I think, what the fun thing is, that math is always that underlining, like math is kind of like the communication of everything.
Remember when you were afraid of math?
I still am a little bit. I realized when the plates on the bar start reaching numbers that I don't remember, like I don't have it memorized, that's when I start like malfunctioning. So my goal is to work through that and stop malfunctioning when I don't have the weights plate math memorized.
So in this is a little off topic, but in the world search for extraterrestrial life, right?
Yeah.
Or other life forms, they always send out math, because they don't send out English or Spanish or something, because no one would speak that, but they would expect all civilized beings to understand.
That's so cool. What?
Whether it's patterns or sounds, but yes, it's all done in math.
Wow. That's freaking crazy.
There's your, useless math.
Do you believe in aliens?
It just seems like there's too vast of a universe for something else not to be out there. I don't know that I think it's little green men that are going to come down and,
I think they're here. I think they're here. I know they're here.
You think they're already on Earth?
No, they're on Earth for sure. No, for sure they're on Earth. No, seriously, they're here. This is not a joke. They are here. They are here. For sure.
Look like that? Do they look like us?
No, I don't think they've shown themselves yet. I don't know what they look like. I don't, but I do think Area 51 is real.
That I think actually did happen. I think that's a big cover up. I agree.
I think so. And I also think they destroyed it. I think if you were to go and like try to get in or whatever, they moved everything for sure. Like, cause there was that thing in 2018 where people were trying to go to Area 51. Before that happened, they moved everything. I can guarantee it. And I know that they've tried to contact Earth. So Well, because the presidents pass it down. They share with other presidents. And one president who shall not be named has said, like, yeah, when you are in incarnated,
reincarnated or incarcerated?
No, when you are, passed on to be president. What's the word?
Inaugurated.
When you're inaugurated,
I'm trying to say maybe it's an incarceration. You're kind of jailed.
Kind of. It's that, or and then when you are inaugurated, wow, think about that: incarnated, inaugurated, and incarcerated. Similar words, anyways. But when you're inaugurated, they tell you all the secrets,
right?
And one of the secrets is that, hey, yeah, aliens are here. They are on Earth. And have you seen all the UFOs going around?
I know. They try to tell us they're drones.
They're not fucking drones. All right. There's your explicit for this episode. It's not a rant. I have a friend. Her dad writes books on UFOs and all the data behind proving that aliens are here. And they are here. And they are here. And I think
how do they have cool spaceships?
What do you mean?
Like, we don't have cool spaceships to travel to other...
We are millennials behind them in terms of technology. They're not worried about us. They're probably going to be worried about us as AI progresses, but they ain't worried about us.
I don't know. That's a whole other scary thing. I've seen all the Terminator movies. Anyway.
You're like, okay, we're done talking about this. AI is a gift. Thank you. Thank you, King Elon. Anyways, I'm done.
Yeah, try to be a teacher with it. Oof.
Oh, yeah. The kids don't have to do any homework.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I don't want it to make us dumber.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Because the kids will be like, oh, I can just use this and get the answer. I'm like, but someone's got to program
Yeah,
it.
I wish we could make a rule like you literally could not use like technology until you're 15 years old. Like if we could ban that, that would be so cool.
To be older.
15? Okay, 18? Well, that would be crazy.
No, honestly, our responsibility as a culture and a civilization is to teach them how to use it appropriately.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. That makes sense. But I just think it's hard. I mean, as a parent, I'm sure it's insanely hard to monitor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as a teacher, it's hard.
Yeah.
So that's part of my job.
I wish we could all just say no phones until like 8th grade and then no.
That's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Do you think that, yeah.
No, because then you got to be able to call your mom and all that stuff. I don't know.
Once again, Gen X, we just, yelled.
Yeah, true. Mom. Yeah.
No, the moms would just stand on the front porch with their, Virginia Slims and just yell.
Crazy how times change. Yeah. I'm over here preaching no drinking. Wow. That was not a thing back then 50 years ago.
It was, the 80s, whatever.
Yeah. Wow, crazy times. All right. So going
back to the Einstein.
back to Einstein. So I wanna talk about how we can apply this to lifting weights, of course. So focusing on one thing obviously is going to help you get better results. So I kind of brought this up in our previous episode about how today I focused on 3 lifts and I probably got a lot more out of my workout. I actually know I did. Like I left feeling like, oof, that was a really good workout.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I would say is like focus on 2 things that you want to work on, right? If you can only work out 3 days a week, there are so many different programs that you can do. But let's say you want to build a badonk, right? Focus on hip thrusting and back squatting. You want to build lats as well. Focus on pull-ups and cable row. And if you could do those 4 lifts 3 times a week for 6 weeks, how much stronger do you think you would get?
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Repetition and bringing your focus into main groups is going to absolutely get you a better result. So let's say you want to focus solely on core work, okay? Doing a 30-minute core routine 3 times a week. Guess what? You're going to see tremendous results. But the thing is, a lot of people say, well, I want to be like this and this and this and this and this and this and this. It's guess what? Like that's going to cause you more stress, more confusion, more body confusion. You're not going to get the results that you want. So, and then we can bring it back to nutrition as well. Focus on less. I want to make this I want to make like quesadillas and I want to make Asian food and I want to make Mexican food and I want to make, I want a burger this night and I want this. It's like, why don't you simplify it? Yeah. Focus on the routine that you need. Does your body need protein? Does it need carbs? What do you need to focus on? Bring it down to the basics.
So, and you can eat the same thing over and over.
You should eat the same thing over and over. I mean, I know we like variety.
Right. But that was something I even struggled with. Oh, I got to figure out this and that and this and then this for dinner and then that. And then when we started meal prepping, and I'm like, well, I'm making like lunch is the same for the next 2 weeks.
Exactly. And guess what? Your results were tremendous in that time when you focused on less.
And I don't get sick of it. It's fine. I'm hungry by then.
I know.
I just want to eat.
I do have a hard time coaching people who do get sick of their food or get bored of it. I mean, I get it. If you make a meal for 6 days, by the 6th day, you're not going to want it anymore. That's okay. Like maybe make 2 meals.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
That's a mindset thing too, though.
It is.
And it was for me as well. Because I was like, there's no way I want to eat the same thing 5 days in a row.
It's
and then I said, but I also don't want to do whatever else. I don't want to do my laundry every other day either. Guess what?
You're going to do it anyways.
Yeah. I had to come to grips with that food. Sometimes it is entertainment, but it's not always.
No.
Sometimes it's just fuel.
Yeah. So I do think this principle is applied to a lot of things. Finances, health, wellness, mindset, relationships, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, how many of us have a huge list of projects we want to do?
Everyone.
Tell me one person does not have a huge list of projects they want to do, but it's overwhelming if you look at it.
Yeah.
So you have to prioritize 1 or 2 and the others have to wait.
Yes.
And that takes time to figure out.
It does. It really does. And I think that's the thing in which it's hard, because I think that's why I think especially like women get overwhelmed too. I know men do. I'm not saying men and women are super different in that way.
Especially our moms, though.
Yeah. Moms get so stressed.
They're trying to multitask
everything. My God, they're trying to balance so much. I can only imagine.
Well, the male brain, I mean, it's biological. It's proven that they are better at focusing on a singular task. That they don't multitask as well as women.
They can compartmentalize.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Whereas women, they see 17 things to be done and they're trying to do all 17 simultaneously, where a man will probably pick the first thing, do it, move on to the next thing, do it.
Right.
And so it's just a very different approach. Not one's better than the other, but I think that's sometimes the cause of stress.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, this theory, and the theory of relativity is gravity, right? By the way.
Yeah. Well, force. Yeah. Mass, force.
Mass,
all that
force.
Thing. Yeah.
Oh, the size of the size of the mass. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything I learned in school. No, I do. I know what you were talking about here. So I guess you could say it's all relative.
You could.
All right. Well, I think this is a good topic. We don't got to force it. Do you have anything else
to
think about it?
We've got aliens. We're going to pare down our to-do list, and I got this.
I got this.
Hey guys, thanks for listening this week. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. For more I Got This content, please make sure to follow, like, and share on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or you can always go to our website, igotThisPod.com, for more info. As always, thanks for listening. See you next Monday.